Okay. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As I said, we're going to cover a very interesting topic, and that will be on the physical benefits of wuzu. So this will be very research based, and it will give us a good idea of the steps and every step of wuzu and how this is benefiting us in many ways. So as you know, in Islam, we are told that salat is very important, and in the Holy Quran, Allah the Almighty says, "Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i," that surely prayer restrains one from indecency, and this reinforces what the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, that inna fi salati shifa, that verily there is a cure in shifa. So thus hinting that there is some sort of physical benefit to namaz. But before, of course, doing namaz, we must always look at wuzu. But so quickly, just to understand what fahsha is, in the Arabic dictionaries, is committing obscene actions, was unseemingly, lewd, obscene, shamelessness, ribaldry, excess, exorbitance. So all these kind of connotations of what fahsha is, this is what namaz actually abstains us from. And also in munkar, in another place in the Holy Quran, talking about salat, and we read it in khutbah saniya as well. Munkar is that thing which we mistook, misjudged, disapproved, something negative, something disguised, something or someone who is ignorant. So fahsha and munkar is very important to understand what those two aspects are. Small fact. Okay, going to wuzu now. Wuzu, the ablution taught by the Holy Prophet, consists of 26 washing movements to be carried out 5 times a day. So a total of 130 daily washing rituals are done if, and we should be doing wuzu every time before every namaz. Yoga experts, so wuzu is quite linked to other aspects in our daily life. So yoga experts now exhort people to wash key motor and sensory organs, including the hands, arms, mouth, eyes, and legs before going to sleep in order to induce a deep sleep. This was also the practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Khalifatul Masih Sani who has said something very interesting about wuzu in Tafsir Kabir. He said, this action, this act of ablution also provides physical cleanliness because the parts of the body which are exposed to dirt and dust are cleansed. Huzur has also mentioned the psychological benefits of wuzu by saying, washing or moistening these body parts is also beneficial for concentration because lack of concentration is due to the senses being occupied. So this is something just for our background knowledge of wuzu and what it means. But now if we go into the research and what experts have said, and one man, Magnamodov, has explained that Chinese medicine claims that there are more than 700 biological active spots, so BASES, bases you can call them, more commonly known as pressure points. 66 of these are called drastic spots and have an immediate effect on the body, each spot for different organs. So when these spots come into contact with pressure, they are activated or recharged. He explains that 61 out of 66 drastic spots or pressure points are activated when one performs ablution. And this gives a hydro massage to all the BASs, the pressure points. So that's something very interesting to have in our knowledge bank. So if we carry on from there, as you're aware, water is used to clean various parts of prior to salat, and as you know, Allah the Almighty has made everything living with water. So that also highlights that there's something physically beneficial to us when we use water and there's contact with water on our skin. Another research done by the Mayo Clinic is that the human body is 60% made of water. holds 60% of water in our body. It was vital that the basic component of life itself was to be included in the preparation of Salat. So as you know, Salat is also a living action. It's a living connection with Allah the Almighty. So how beautiful it is that Allah the Almighty has commanded us to begin such an act or such a worship with the very element which is used to give life, if you like. So the contact of water with the skin kickstarts the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing the body to calm down and reduce internal activities, in turn reaching optimal equilibrium. Thus, ablution prepares a worshipper for meditation and prayer at the psychobiological level. So again, that's very important to understand, that we are mentally preparing ourselves for to be in a state of peace and calmness. Washing our hands. So ever since we were kids, our parents are continuously telling us, wash your hands before you have food, and this is something which everyone knows, but it's also something which religion exhorts a lot, especially Islam. In fact, Islam, more than any other religion, gives the most emphasis on cleanliness. We'll get to the hadith shortly. So just by washing our hands, as we know nowadays we're told to wash our hands even more, but just to repeat the blessings of that and the physical blessings of that, let's go over that. The mere act of washing one's hands can protect one from a series of diseases and illnesses. It should not be taken lightly. Simple hand washing and cleanliness techniques can significantly lessen the global disease, and this is the most important thing, burden and promote good health. This goes to show that by including the washing of hands at least 5 times a day, Allah the All-Knower has protected mankind as a whole, not only at an individual level. And this is something which we know more now, but maybe we didn't know this a few months ago, before the pandemic started. How all of us, if we all wash our hands, by coming to the mosque in a clean way, we are protecting each other, and we are not bringing those bacteria into the mosque or into our homes. So again, something very important for us to understand. Mukhtar Salam, another very renowned researcher, in his book Prayers, a Sport for the Body and Soul, explains that ablution helps eliminate pollution on the body, whether it is internal or external, whether it particularly aids this process. Salim also explains how water invigorates the ends of blood vessels, nerves, and glands, which lie just below the skin. So again, as soon as there's that contact of water on our hands, the ends of blood vessels are also all washed out, which hold all that bacteria, as you already know. So the question arises now, does wuzu, or the impact of water, have a psychological effect on us? So another study was carried out on an investigation where he found, Spike Lee found, that washing hands actually allows people to clear their mind of past immoral actions. And we'll see how this links to a very interesting hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. In this hadith, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, when a bondsman, a Muslim, or a believer washes his face in ablution, every sin he contemplated with his eyes will be washed away from his face, along with water, or with the last drop of water. When he washes his hands, every sin they wrought will be effaced from his hands with the water, or with the last drop of water. So again, this is very interesting. If we link this back to this research on top of how washing hands clears the mind of past immoral actions. So again, how did the Holy Prophet ﷺ know all this? During the time where he couldn't read, he was told directly from Allah the Almighty all of these things which researchers are only finding out now. So again, wuzu is so important, and it's an act which gets you prepared in so many different ways. So we've gone through the hands. Now let's go to the mouth, and let's see what the hadith says about this. Were it not for fear of troubling my followers, I would order them to clean their teeth before every prayer. So again, the Holy Prophet ﷺ knew that it may be a burden for us to continuously brush our teeth before every namaz, but he said, if anyone can, then I would tell them to do it, because it holds such great importance, and we'll see the importance of this. Hazrat Aisha Razitalan has related that the first action of the Holy Prophet ﷺ used to perform after entering his house was brushing his teeth. And as you know, in that time, brushing their teeth was done with miswak, which is a small branch of a tree, which includes all the things that we have in our toothpaste now. And they would use that to clean their teeth. So again, if we ever can, and if we have the power to, then we should continuously brush our teeth. The doctors recommend 2 to 3 times a day, but the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that the more, the merrier. And now let's see some of the benefits of brushing our teeth and keeping our mouths clean. So rinsing the mouth during ablution removes rotting food particles in between the teeth and gums, preventing bacteria buildup and bad breath. Keeping your mouth clean prevents from gum diseases like gingivitis, and recent studies suggest that those with gum diseases are more likely to suffer heart attacks than those with healthy gums. So again, something very interesting and a link which maybe we didn't know. The formation of the hard and sticky calcified plaque, also known as calculus, is also inhibited by rinsing the mouth. So that's another very interesting thing. The main cause of tooth erosion is when acidity is built up in the mouth. This is due to fluids or food particles breaking down in carbohydrates. So I'll let you read through all of this later on. Just an interesting one study of an 8-year Scottish study of over 11,000 participants, published by the British Medical Journal, confirms that poor oral hygiene is directly related to cardiovascular diseases. Thus, Allah otherwise protects a Muslim worshipper whilst he rinses his mouth 3 times a day during ablution from all sorts of oral and cardiovascular diseases. So again, when you are doing wudu, think about these things and think about, we spoke about yesterday about gratitude and how we are so blessed to have good health. So again, one way of abstaining from going into bad health is through doing wudu 5 times a day. Now we'll go to cleaning the nose. The third step of wudu is nasal irrigation, where excess mucus, dirt, and debris are flushed out of the nose. And a sinus, the worshipper flushes his nose with water 3 times a day. As you know, nasal irrigation has been found to reduce symptoms such as facial pain, cough, hay fever, allergies, stress, and so on and so forth. So again, just by cleaning out your nose, all these things are also flushed out at the same time. According to a study in Egypt, the prophetic tradition, which longs the exaggeration of cleaning the nostrils by introducing the water in the nostrils, then blowing it out, improves the inner coating of the nostrils. So again, a benefit of applying water to skin. So cleaning the nose with water also facilitates for mental clarity and concentration. And as you know, just the nose is very connected to the upper side of our head, and so just by washing all those things out, it blocks all the blockages which we had from before are washed out. So it gives that feeling of readiness and alertness which we need before namaz. So wudu enables one to practice his faith in the best manner. And how true is the saying of our beloved Master, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that cleanliness is half of faith. So now we understand how physically we are being prepared. How physically we're being prepared to be ready for namaz, and cleanliness is half of faith. So we must always remind ourselves of that, and thank Allah that we are able to practice our faith physically in the best manner. Because as you know, just through one illness, if we're having a fever, if we've got a cold, just praying becomes very difficult because you find it very difficult to concentrate. So when we are physically healthy, we are able to do that in the best manner. And we must always pray that we are able to pray to Allah physically in the best way that we possibly can. So again, washing the face. If we just go through some points, when you wash your face, you do it 3 times. This gives instant freshness and revitalizes the body. No wonder why most people, when they get up straight away, they go and wash their face to be alert. On the face, heat is generated by the body throughout the day. The contact of water lowers the temperature on the face, giving a cooling and soothing sensation. Also, dead cells which are on the skin are also washed away, also for new skin to regenerate. And the eyes are also washed from dirt and dust, protecting from infections and diseases. So if we just look at the diagram on your right on the screen, this again going back to what we talked about, the pressure points. You can see on your face, you can already see how many pressure points there are. So just by applying water to those pressure points, it eases all those points which are connected to organs. And the following diagram provides a clearer picture of this. So if you can just look at that and how each of those points are connected to different organs in the body. As we've already mentioned about when water is applied to these 66 pressure points in our body, it also gives relief to those as well. So washing the head, ears, neck, and arms. So again, when we do Masah, and then washing our arms with water as well. So as we know, we do all these actions 3 times again. And as you know, in Islam, 3 times is seen as something very blessed, something which Allah loves, because He loves odd numbers, which we've discussed before. So again, all these connections we can make, and we can understand how we do these things in other aspects of Islam. It should be understood that the head, neck, and arms have bundles of vital sensory neurons connected to the spinal column and the brain, whilst also containing veins supplying oxygenated blood to the organs. When the head, ears, and neck are wiped, veins are stimulated, allowing an increased supply of oxygen to organs. Throughout the day, the head heats up, and it is known fact that the most amount of body heat is lost through the head. In turn, wiping water across the head reduces its temperature, protecting from headaches and migraines. This is especially relevant to hot countries. As you know, during the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in Arabia, it was something which was very, very prevalent, and the heat of the sun would be shining on the Muslims in that time. So when wuzu came, it was almost like a relief for them, and it almost like a chain reaction to calling the worshippers before they get ready for the mosque. So there are many lymph nodes around the ears and neck. These are connected to the lymphatic system, which releases lymphocytes that battle pathogens and protect the body. So a lot of big words there for many people who don't know. So basically what this is explaining, that again we have many different pressure points connected to different parts of the body. And again, these nodes are stimulated through muscle. So again, just by passing our hand over our head and our neck and our ears, we are activating all of those points which may not be activated during the day. And so this is one of the most amazing things about wuzu, again, that we are making contact with those points throughout the day, 5 times a day. Again, if we now look into the ear, and just if you look at this remarkable image on the right, how just the ear holds so many of these points which are connected to so many parts of the body. So the ear, which is a storehouse of pressure points and biologically active spots, is also cleansed during wuzu. So secretion from the ear, such as earwax, is constantly removed throughout the day, preventing ear infections. Acupressure encourages people to relieve themselves from pain and discomfort by applying pressure to various points around the ear. And if we just look at the picture on the right, you'll see, just to point out a few, the eye, the tongue, the toe, the fingers, the wrists, all of these pressure points are connected in the ear. And you may see sometimes when with animals, for example, to calm them down, the vets would sometimes massage the ear, and this gives them a relief to the whole body. And now you can slowly understand what wuzu has on us, and when we do that so many times a day, how it's keeping us all calm, how it's keeping all those points in our body intact and giving contact to them. Because if you think about it, if you don't do wuzu in a day, how many times a day would you make contact with your ear? How many times a day would you make contact with your arms, with your neck, for example? So again, when water is applied, water, remember we said, is the component for every living thing in the world. When that element is applied to these pressure points, Allah the Almighty has given us this guidance of it will relieve us, it will put us in a state of peace, in a state of alertness, and we'll be ready for the most important thing in our day, which is namaz. So again, something very useful to know while we are doing namaz. Again, if we just look at the arm as well, the arm has major arteries and veins which lead to the heart, brain, and liver. Washing your arms improves circulation of these vital components of the circulatory system. So again, the scientists out there, or those who are interested in medicine, would know a lot about this. So again, with us, by washing our arms from our hands to our elbows, you can see exactly why we do that and how the veins are connected from the fingers right up to the elbows. So this again is another very hidden secret which the Holy Prophet ﷺ came and taught us exactly how to do. Because as you know, in the Holy Quran, we are told very generally of what wuzu is. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ came and taught us exactly how we should be doing it. And the reason why we're all doing it exactly the same now is because as the Masih Maud taught us exactly how we should be doing wuzu. Many other Muslims, and we'll talk about this in the future, inshallah, about how there are different questions arising about wuzu. Some Muslims take hours to do wuzu, known as asbagh al-wuzu. So again, we need to find moderation in doing wuzu. There's a reason why the Holy Prophet gave a limit of a minimum standard of 3 times. Of course, you can do it more, but we must always do everything with moderation and with wisdom. So again, we'll talk about that a lot later, but just to understand why 3 times is the minimum, and why just by doing that you can cleanse yourself in the best possible way. So washing your feet, this is the last step. I think we're going on track, alhamdulillah. Washing your feet, the final step of wuzu is to wash the feet, wash each foot 3 times up to the ankles with water. This removes dirt and bacteria that build up extremely quickly on the foot. Washing the foot prevents fungi accumulation, thus preventing the all too common athlete's foot. And you may see people who have this. So one of the best cures which doctors always recommend is to wash the feet constantly. And we'll see an image of the foot, just like we saw of the ear, of how there are even more pressure points leading to all the parts of the body in our foot. So one type of Chinese medicine, already mentioned before, is called the reflexology, which aims to improve organ function through pressure points. Reflexologists and massage therapists focus huge attention on the foot, as it contains close to 7,200 nerve endings and numerous pressure points. When a Muslim washes his feet during wuzu, he simultaneously rubs these nerve endings, which increase awareness and invigorate organs. So again, just looking at the image, you will get a clear understanding of how important it is to do wuzu. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has even made it so easy for us. He said, once you wash your feet in the morning and you've put socks on, all you have to do is do Masah over your feet. So again, we've understood the blessings of doing Masah as well, how Masah also improves, almost gets the same result as doing water. But the most important thing about water is that you'll have more of an effect on your skin than Masah. So if you can, try to wash your feet with water as much as you can. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ has also given us that facility of once you've put your socks on, then you don't need to continuously take your socks off and wash them. So again, try to wash them at least once a day. In the morning when you're about to do Fajr, try to wash them. And if you've ever taken your socks off, you have to wash them as soon as you've taken your socks off as well. So again, this is a very important lesson for all of us. In conclusion, it is apparent that wuzu has obvious and clear physical benefits. It recharges the nervous system and cardiovascular system whilst protecting from illnesses and the development of diseases. It has a profound effect on the mind, allowing a worshipper to be calm and peace. So this was a short presentation on the physical benefits of Salat. I hope and pray you all benefited from it. Alhamdulillah, we're able to record today's session, and inshallah we'll continue to record them. Now there will be a very interesting topic show on MTA, so I will close the lesson now. Alhamdulillah, we were able to finish just in time. Inshallah, tomorrow we'll be having our Tahsin al-Quran lesson as well our question and answer session, and it could be our last question and answer during Ramadan. So please try to send in your questions and we'll try to get through as many as we can. So Jazakumullah, Jaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.